Welcome back, everyone, to another explainer. If you're here, it means you're a focused learner. We want to cut right through the noise and get straight to the facts. And well, today we are looking at an absolutely unprecedented technological shift in national security. We are literally witnessing the dawn of a completely new era for the US military. It's an era where the absolute bleeding edge of Silicon Valley is directly merging with the deepest, most highly classified levels of the defense establishment. This isn't just a minor update, it's a massive structural change. It's the kind of thing that's going to redefine global power dynamics, and it is happening right now.
Okay, let's dive into this. 8. Just keep that number in your head for a second. 8. Because as of right now, 8 of the absolute most powerful artificial intelligence systems in the entire world have just received ultimate military clearance. Now, we're not talking about some experimental, pilot programs or little testing environments here. No way. We're talking about the real deal. 8 of the absolute most advanced AI systems on the planet have just been given the green light to operate completely inside the defense apparatus.
So, how did we get here? Well, this all traces back to a foundational announcement made by the Defense Department on May 1st. On that exact day, the Pentagon officially confirmed that it had reached formal agreements to deploy these frontier artificial intelligence systems directly onto classified military networks. And guys, this is a monumental step. Seriously. For years, the integration of commercial AI into these classified spaces was basically a bureaucratic mountain. But this essentially leveled that mountain overnight. It completely opened the floodgates for commercial AI to touch highly sensitive national security data. So you're probably wondering, who exactly is crossing this threshold?
Section 1. The players. Inside the integration.
Now, what's really interesting here is the sheer scope of the entities involved. The Defense Department didn't just partner up with one niche defense contractor. Instead, they integrated this sweeping, massive coalition of tech titans. We're looking at major cloud providers, the absolute leading developer of graphics processing hardware, the top commercial rocketry company, several of the largest AI model developers in the entire United States, and finally, a national laboratory to round out this initial group. It's basically a who's who of modern technological infrastructure, and they are all stepping together into the classified realm.
Section 2. Inside the networks. The 2 tiers of clearance. Knowing exactly who is involved is really only half the story. We also need to look at where these systems are actually going, because they aren't just sitting on some single uniform server somewhere. And this brilliantly illustrates how they're actually approved to operate across 2 distinct levels of clearance. On one side, you've got networks that broadly handle secret data. Okay, makes sense. But on the other side, you have a much more restricted tier. This higher tier handles the absolute most sensitive operational information that the Defense Department even processes. The fact that commercial AI systems are now clear to operate across both of these tiers, that is a massive leap in trust and integration. But why take this leap in the first place? What is the Defense Department actually using these systems for? Well, the stated operational purpose follows a very logical 2-step flow. Step 1 is data analysis. Think about it. The military gathers an incomprehensible amount of data every single second of the day, and they desperately need these frontier models just to synthesize it all. Then, step 2 is battlefield decision-making support. Once that massive pile of data is analyzed by the AI, it's immediately leveraged to help human commanders make faster, way more accurate decisions in active, super high-stakes environments. Now, this aggressive push, it hasn't happened in a vacuum. The Defense Department has actually been trying to accelerate this whole AI integration thing for years. And the core motivation driving this timeline is really intense strategic competition. The United States is watching rival nations develop their own military artificial intelligence capabilities at just a blistering pace. So from the Pentagon's perspective, securing these 8 systems isn't just a nice upgrade, it's a critical, absolutely crucial necessity to ensure they don't fall behind in this global technological arms race. However, this sweeping integration definitely did not happen without some friction. Section 3. The tension. The one major holdout. So despite that huge list of tech giants that signed on, one major AI lab was notably entirely absent from the approved list. And this absence really highlights a deep philosophical and structural divide. On one hand, you have the Pentagon's requirements, right? They're seeking unrestricted access to the AI technology to deploy it however they see fit for national security. But on the other hand, you have the holdout lab's position. They're insisting on strict usage restrictions, specifically demanding that their technology never be used for domestic mass surveillance or for the development of autonomous weapon systems.
So the crucial point is understanding what this standoff actually represents. It really all comes down to the concept of usage restrictions. Basically, these are firm limits placed by a technology developer on what their systems can be authorized to do in a national security context. The companies that did gain access to the military networks, they accepted terms that allowed for much broader use of their systems. But the one major lab that held out, they simply drew a firm boundary, one that was just completely incompatible with the Pentagon's required terms of deployment. It's a really clear illustration of the differing operational boundaries within the tech industry today. Section 4, the implications, looking at the next 6 months. So with those boundaries established, what actually happens next? Let's move on and see how this builds over the coming half year. To put this timeline into perspective, military tech integrations usually take decades, literally decades. But here, we're starting with the May 1st agreements as our baseline. As we move into months 1 through 3, you can expect to see a really rapid integration of AI-assisted analysis directly into military logistics and intelligence synthesis. And then, by the time we hit months 4 through 6, this will expand even further into direct operational planning. It's a highly, highly aggressive timeline, and it's designed to embed this technology into the daily workflow of the military as quickly as humanly possible. And that brings us to the true gravity of this entire explainer. Because, as the source material directly states, this set of agreements marks a clear institutional commitment to AI as foundational infrastructure within the defense establishment. Let that sink in. Artificial intelligence is no longer viewed as just some novel tool or cool experimental side project. No, it is now considered a permanent structural pillar of the United States military apparatus. Honestly, it's being treated just like an aircraft carrier or a satellite network. Which leaves us with a really critical question to ponder as we wrap up today's explainer. As these highly advanced systems become deeply, deeply embedded into our defense infrastructure, where exactly is the line between national security imperatives and the boundaries of artificial intelligence? It's a fascinating question, and it's one that the military, the tech giants, and really society at large are going to have to navigate very, very carefully in the coming months. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep asking questions, and I'll see you next time.